Hey everybody, Patty Ann here. Welcome back. Listen, today I'm going to show you how to make a different kind of mug rugs. Mug rug. You know how we've all been having fun making mug rugs, like the one I'll show you right here. Sorry. But the other day I made this one, and I did a video for you to show you how to make this one. And I also made this one with the same pattern. Okay. Well, today I'm going to show you where you can grab a free pattern, and of course these new free ones are going to fit right in these little trays that we've gotten from, oops, got it upside down, from the Dollar Tree, and they're super cute. This is the free one we're going to make today. Check it out. Can you see that I've done that using, it's kind of hard to tell, but metallic threads because they're gorgeous. Notice that there's a letter right here, and you get all the letters of the alphabet, so you can personalize this with a monogram. Also, it comes with these stitches right here, and you get the little coffee cup. This is the free one. And then, like I said, Heather gave me permission to show you how you can change it up however you'd like to be something like this. Now, if you like to digitize, I'll be showing this in the second half of the video. The first half, I'll just be showing you how to take this free mug rug and how to do this crazy quilt technique. Okay? So, let's get started. Let's go down to my machine or my computer and let's get started. Okay, here we are at Creative Kiwi, and this is where you can get that free design I'm going to show you how to use. But I wanted to show you another design that I did here. And I did this, I believe I did it in my 5x7 hoop. It was 2 hoopings, and it shows how to do it easily, and it's super duper cute. And this is one of the freebies that was here under the, it's not a freebie, I'm sorry, it's one of the large designs. Large applique designs, so I went to large applique animals. And here they are. Aren't they cute? Look at all these. They're so super cute. Look. I mean, honestly. But anyway, this is where I got my little pig guy. And I can show you that. And these things are on sale right now. But look how many cute ones there are. I think they're adorable. The platypus. And the sheep. This one's cute for a little baby. But here's the pig. And they even give you some instructions right here on doing it. So, but let's go to where we need to be today. Oh my gosh, this is cute. I might have to do this. Look at that on a pillow. Cute. So notice that they're on sale all right now also. I'm not affiliated with Creative Kiwi. I just love their stuff. So let's go over here to where it says free machine embroidery. And we can scroll through here and look at all of these freebies that they have. They've got tons of them that are really super cute. I think this one's really cute, the free sewing gnomes. Okay, but I'm going to scroll down here till I see the one that I used. There's a coaster. Hopefully I didn't pass it. That's cute. Nuts for mutts. That's a cute one, isn't it? Let's look at that just real quick for a minute. Aw, that's really cute. Mug rug. Whoops. Okay, let's focus, Patricia. Patty Ann. So, I haven't seen it yet. Here's a cute one. Sorry, you guys. It's a sewing one. Look at the tree. That's cute. There it is. Okay. Free Crazy Patch Mug Rug. So I'm going to click on that to open it. And notice it says that I did already order this item. And so since I've already ordered it, I can download it again. And I'll show you how to do that right here. Notice it comes down here in the lower left-hand corner. Click on that to open it. It's a zipped file. Notice how many files there are. And that's because, as I said in the beginning, you get all of these little letters here. So if you want to make one for someone in particular, you can find their letter. And maybe I'm going to make one for, let's say I'm going to make one for Tammy. So I'd find the T. There's a text document. I don't need that. I would just open the PES file. However, I can't open it yet. Well, it let me, but usually you cannot open them unless you extract them all first, and that probably worked because I've already done that. All right, so rather than do the T, I think I'll do the R, an R for rice. So I'll find the PES file because that's the format I chose to download. Okay, and here it is, just like this. Now this is the way it's going to go in my machine. The little bracket is over here on the left-hand side, so I can leave it all like this. Of course, I don't have to use the colors that they use. They just change up the colors so it stops, and that gives me time to change the colors if I'd like to. So all I have to do now is just begin, and the first thing I would do, and let's look at the stitch simulator. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to run a line of stitching, and that's going to show me where to put my my batting or my felt, whatever, right? And then the next line is going to tack down that felt, and then it's also going to draw the lines or stitch the lines. So those are placement lines for my fabric. Okay, this next part is doing the tack down of the fabric. See that running right there? Maybe you can see it right here. That's doing the tack down of the fabric for the stitch and flip method. So it did that one, and now it's doing this one. Then it's going to do after it's done with that, it's going to start doing, whoops, I dropped my little guy, where'd he go? Oh, it's going to start doing this decorative stitching, the meandering stitch up here, then some of the decorative stitches, and then the outline stitch like this, beautiful. Okay, and then the coffee cup and the letter you chose. And then finally you're going to put your fabric on top to make the envelope closure, and it's going to do that right there at the very final. So let's check this out on my embroidery machine. Okay, I've already done step number 1, which was the placement stitch for my batting. Now I'm putting my batting on top, making sure I cover all of those placement stitches, and then I'll run the next step. And this step shows that the placement stitches for the fabric, they've been stitched on top of the batting. And then the next step is going to show something that I just personally do. I like to mark them so I don't get confused the way they're marked in the directions. And this photo just shows that I like to press my fabrics first, and I like to use a spray starch. Okay, for step number 3, the first thing you're going to do is take your number 1 fabric and put it over top of this number 1 area, making sure it covers all of it. And I like to go outside the edge a little bit like that, right? So there's a seam allowance there. You don't want it right up to the edge. You want it to go over about 1/4 of an inch or maybe even more. So that is face up. The next fabric you're going to take is fabric number 2, and you're going to place that right side down, because what you're going to do is you're going to place this here. Now again, you want to make sure that you've left some, it's not quite just right to the line. As you can see, there's the line that it made. So it's going over that. And you want to make sure when it stitches there where that line is, this is going to be flipped like this. And you want to make sure that all of number 2 area is covered. Okay, so really just put that there, flip it, and make sure, is everything going to be covered? Yes. So then you would leave these like this, take this to your machine, and you're going to stitch number 3, which is going to be this diagonal line right here. Okay, this diagonal line has been stitched. So now if you'd like to, you can come over here and don't cut this right up to the edge, just 1/4 of an inch away. So kind of like that. So it's 1/4 of an inch away from that stitching. If you want to cut it and make it look a little bit neater, you can. And just make sure you don't cut your stitching like I'm getting close to doing. Then the next thing you'll do is just fold this like this and finger press this. Next, you'll take your final fabric, and you got to look and see, where is that going to go? Okay, well, it's going to go right here like that. and here, way up here, it's going to actually go. Okay, so you see where the diagonal line is. Hopefully that's the stitching line. That's where this is going to be stitched. So again, you're going to put this on here, right side facing down, and making sure that it's going 1/4 of an inch past this diagonal line. There's the diagonal line. Make sure it's going 1/4 of an inch past, and then flip it over with your 1/4 of an inch seam and see how's that going to work. Okay, that's working pretty well for me, and even the stripes look a little straighter than they did last time. I didn't pay attention to that. So all I have to do then is stick this back on here and bring this over to my machine, and it'll stitch this diagonal line. Okay, at this point again I can trim a little bit of this if I'd like to. Then I'm going to fold this over and finger press. And now the next thing my machine is going to do, which is step number 5, it's going to go around this whole area, starting to do the decorative stitch. So I want to put in my metallic thread. I'm using a Floriani metallic thread. I use this with no problem whatsoever, as long as I use one of these little nets. Okay, if you're not sure what these are, I'll have them linked for you down below. You can find them everywhere. And actually, maybe you got some with your embroidery machine. So what you do is you just feed this edge, or the end of the thread, up through the middle of this. Put this down over top of your thread, like that. And that will save you so many headaches from using this thread. The other thing that I do is I slow my machine way down when I'm using metallic threads. Oopsie, I accidentally told you that step number 5 right here was going to start the decorative stitching, but it's really not. What it's doing, it's tacking down the outside of all the fabrics together. And we can see that if we get to here. You see it's just tacking them all down. Then the next step is it's going to start the decorative stitching right here. And further, if we look at the Acrobat file that you get with this, here's what it shows stitch number 5 is doing. The outside edge of this, tacking down all the fabrics. And then number 6, and this is where you're going to be on your own. You're going to complete the detailed embroidery in your chosen thread colors. So number 6 is the stippling right here. Number 7 is this decorative stitch. Number 8 is this decorative stitch, and I did mine all in the same color. I used that really pretty gold metallic thread. Then number 9, let's see, decorative edge. That's when it did the decorative edge stitch. Then 10 is the coffee cup, and 11 is whatever initial you chose. And so that's where you're going to do yours, a little different than mine. I'm going to use the pattern that I came up with, and then we'll come back to doing the last bit. Okay, all of my embroidery stitching or decorative stitching has been done, so I'm ready to do the final step. The instructions for the free mug rug tell you what size to make these back pieces, and I'm just going to lay them on top like this, making sure that all of my stitch edges are covered. And like this, overlapping them about an inch or so. It tells in the instructions how much. And so what you can do now, one of the things I found is helpful is just to make sure that you don't have your embroidery foot get stuck up in here, which I've had done before. I take a little bit of this, either KK2000 or I've used this, and I'll spray a little bit on here and then right here to hold this down, and right here and here to hold this down. I'm going to do that, but not right here by my computer. And I'll put this in my machine, and I'll be back to show you the next step. Okay, it's all finished stitching out. I'm going to pop it out of the hoop and just cut it apart. So I'm looking for the line of stitching here, and I'm going to cut 1/4 of an inch away from that line of stitching. Okay, that's finished. Now the only thing I have yet to do is to turn this right side out. As you saw, I like to use the bone folder to help get the edges out, and now I'm just kind of rolling the edges or the seam so that they'll roll to the back, so the back doesn't show on the front. Then I can take my iron and press it a little bit just like that. And that is finished then. Okay, now those of you who want to stay tuned and using Stitch Artist Level 1 see how to do this, we'll start it right now. Okay, for those of you who want to switch up your mug rug to make it look more like mine or actually to customize it however you want to, I'm going to show you how I did this. Okay, in order to get the champagne flute, you'll come to the website that I'll provide down below. It's this Embrilliance website. And you get these really cute little things that you can use. And they tell you how to get them into your computer or into your program if you're not sure how to do that. But anyway, this is what you're going to download right here. So go ahead and do that. Okay, the first thing I did was I brought in the regular original design, and then I came down here to where it says hoop, and I clicked on that, which made my hoop go landscape mode rather than portrait. So I wanted to do the same thing with my design. So in order to do that with my design, what I did was I came up here and clicked on it. So I grabbed all of my design. Then I came over here to these arrows and I clicked on the one that said rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. So it's perfect like that. The next thing I did was I went through here and started getting rid of some of the pieces I knew I didn't need. So I can expand this over here in the objects panel. And I can come down here and I see the coffee mug right here, or the coffee cup. I can highlight it by turning it blue like that, by clicking on it, and hit delete on my keyboard, and it's gone. I'll do the same thing with the letter here. Just click the letter, delete. Same thing with this stippling. I'm going to find that over here. Once I have it selected, delete. Okay, now I'm ready to start with some of these other things. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to the very top up here and I'm going to say edit, ungroup. And what that's going to allow me to do is move some of these pieces off here that I don't need. So I can move that one and that one because I was thinking I wanted to change those to a different style. Okay, before I do that though, I am going to do one more thing. I need to make a little box in here, or a little container area, so that I can put a new design in here instead of that stippling. So to do that, I'm just going to click on create, and then I came over here. After clicking on create, I came over here where it says draw with points. So I'm going to begin drawing with points this section in here that I want to be filled with my fancy stitches. So I'm going to click right here first. I'm going to hold down my shift key because that's going to make straight lines for me, and that's pretty much what I want, are straight lines here. And then I can just close this like that. Okay, so let's see the line that I have. I might want to make it come in just a little bit more so it's inside of that, so I could adjust this a bit as I feel I need to. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put inside of this area right here, I'm going to change it from a line. I'm going to come over here to where it says motif fill and click on that. And notice it already automatically filled it with the motif that I decided that I liked because I used that last. So if you look over here, you can see what I've used. I've used the cross stitch motif in decorative number 1 and decorative number 16. So let me delete that maybe, and I can show you. Let me get rid of these. If I click on this one, I can hit the minus and the minus. So again, I would just come with, oh, I deleted the whole thing. So I've got to come over here again and draw this in again. And I can close. Okay, and it did it again. So if I wanted to change this motif, maybe I want to change it to something else. I add this plus sign right here. Notice right here there are different categories that you can choose. I chose cross stitch it first, which is right here, and I chose number 1 right there. I could have chosen number 2 or any one of these, right? And you could play with this. I think something I'm going to do is make just a whole piece of fabric of all different kind of decorative motifs. But for now, I used number 1 for that, and I said okay. So that put us another one in there, which I don't really want. So I can click on it to highlight it and hit the minus sign, and it's gone. So the other thing that I did was I clicked on motif, and I went to decorative because I saw one that I liked in there. And it was number 16, as you can see, and I added that one, and I said okay. So now I have 2 in there. I don't want 2. I'm going to highlight 1 and minus it out. Okay. So I was happy with that. Okay, the next thing you may want to do is to add a different motif run. We took these motifs off down here, and we could put new ones up here. So all you do is once again come back to your design or create and come over here to the draw with points, and I'm just going to draw here and come over here and stop there, and I'll right click to end that, and then I'm going to come up here. Last time we used the motif fill. This time we're going to use the motif run, and it came up to something I used most recently, which is kind of a diagonal line, which is kind of cool. Maybe I just want to add something else to that, so I can add another motif in there, and maybe I want to do some knots. I don't know if I'd want to do knots on a mug rug because they might make it too bumpy, but I'll play just for now. Nah, I don't think I will. I'll go to something else decorative. We'll just stick that in there and say okay. Okay, so then that's just going to make it look a little bit more different, a little different like that. Okay, and so now maybe I want to put something on this side also. So now all I have to do is to go ahead and come back to my draw, click here, let's see where here, right click to end it, and then I come up here to motif run, put the same last thing I just used, but I don't want to use that again. So I'm going to minus that, and I'll minus that, and I'll make it something totally different. That. Say okay. And I can change, of course, the size of it if I want to. And you guys can play with this. Look at that. You know, that's not at all what I used, but it doesn't matter. You can use whatever you like. And then down here, I wanted to show you how I got the flute. So you just come up here to this little thing that says Merge Design. Unless you have Merrily, this won't pop up for you, so I'll just cancel it. You won't even see that. And what you'll come up to are these things up here, the Embrilliance things in your library. And if you downloaded the thing that I suggested, you'd come all the way down here to Shared Project Blog, and then look at all these cool things that are in here. I mean, how about this for something for Christmas, right? But what I actually used, though, was the champagne flute. I said, okay. And it got put in, whoopsie, it got brought in rather large, but I did shrink it down. And that worked perfectly, actually. So I did that. And I did change it so it was all one color. And eventually I'm going to change it so it's all the gold color. And then I came over and just typed in Merry Christmas. So I came up here to the font, and I changed mine. Like I said, I have Merrily, so I love the Merrily font. And the one that I used for this was, I hope it's going to show up in here. Maybe I don't have Merrily showing up in here because I have this on the demo version and I didn't say that I had Merrily. So anyway, you could use any font that you like to use. Maybe you want to use University. So I would change this to say Merry Christmas And notice that's not going to be the way I wanted it to be, right? I wanted it to be on 2 lines, so I could click on that, put my cursor in between these 2, and hit enter, and now say set. And then it's together. Also, notice how wide apart these words are. I changed my line spacing by clicking that, and I made it a lot smaller so it would fit in here. Move my flute over a little bit. And you can use any font that you want to. And then over here you could put whatever you want. I happen to put 2021 because a lot of times I have little parties and I give people coasters or mug rugs or that kind of thing as a remembrance. So I put 2021 in here. So again, I just came up here to the text and changed this to 2021 and hit enter or set. There it is, too big. But again, I could put anything I want over here. And I could actually even bring in one of those initials, I betcha, from the other mug rug. But that's pretty much how I did it then. I would now delete this and delete this. And I want, like I said, what I want is I want to just do all totally one color. Okay, I switched it up a little bit. But what I wanted to tell you was I don't really want it all to be one color. There's one stitching bit that I must keep as a separate color. And well, that is, actually there's more than one. The first few that I do, I want to be different colors so that it stops between them. So the first one was the placement stitch for the felt or the batting. The second one is the tack down for that. So I want that to be a different color. The next one, these don't matter. So I can have them all be the same color right here. So I can click this one, hold down my control key, this one, and this one, and make them the same color because I want them all to be that pretty gold color. So I'm going to change them to one color and I'll just say clay brown for now and say OK. Now, this number right here, this is supposed to be the very final most stitch. This is the stitch that holds the backing piece together before you turn things, right? So we really need to do something special with this piece right here, and that is to drag it down so it's below everything else so that it goes last. Now I simply can't click on it and say move last because it's last in this little section. So what I have to do is I need to what you need to do, you need to double click right here where it is, and then you're able to drag it. Do you see that? So don't double click on the word, but double click on the little picture right here, and then you can drag it down below everything else. It'll let you click right there. Notice I can't put it there, but if I put it right by the 5 or the last one and drop it, it puts it there, the last bit. So then I can go ahead and change these other colors. One color to the clay. Okay. The happy or Merry Christmas, clay. Okay. This, change the color, clay. Okay. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we need. And this last one here, best to be a different color than the others. So I'm going to change it to blue. Okay. All right. So there it is. So let's look up here at the stitch simulator. So we're going to have the placement stitch for the batting, and then the batting, and the placement lines for the fabrics, and then the stitching lines for the fabrics. Then it's going to do this pretty stitch. Then all of these stitches that we added in here. Then it's going to start doing the fanciness. And then the last thing it's going to do after we put those 2 pieces on that make the backing is that part right there. So I hope this makes sense. If you guys have any questions at all or want me to show another one, let me know. I really enjoyed doing this, and I want to thank Heather at Creative Kiwi for giving us this free file and for allowing us to mess with it and manipulate it and play with it. So y'all go check out over there at Creative Kiwi, And if you need anything, check out my links down below. I also have a code for you to save money if you want to get Stitch Artist and you've been holding off. Right now you can save up 20% if you use my code that I have down below. So thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.